I think I got a full battery. I better get started with this before it goes dead. But anyhow, I'm still working on the little lock protectors, little lock covers, metal ones that I started with cardboard. Remember the ones I started with cardboard? This is a different one. I'll go over it in a minute. This is for the self-storage type building. Let me get a good hold on this camera. This is the kind for the self-storage building. There's just a regular padlock underneath, and it's where you can't cut it. This is going to be for the pad, just a regular hasp here. I'm working on it right now. Now the one behind here is one I'm going to be working on that I haven't even got started with. It's for the round lock. Because see right here, they can cut through there and get that round lock off. But if you got a cover that's made out of metal, like this, there's no way. There's no fucking way. But anyhow, I want to kind of walk you through where I've come from. Well, that's where we're at now, isn't it? And where I'm headed with this. I've got most of my equipment hand-built to where I could do this. And we're going to go out here and I'm going to bend one for you where it gets started at. And yeah, then I'll show you the rest of everything. Here we go. But yeah, this little unit here has come a long ways. Yeah, besides just being welded and painted. Adjustments and things had to be done, and I had to find a space where I could work this because the shop is so full of stuff from other projects and things. I may have to build a building for this if it gets underway to where I get some orders and stuff. Somebody may want some of those little lock covers. So I'm thinking about going all the way. But anyhow, here we go. This is 2-inch here, flat bar. I just slide it right up between these bearings. There's sets of bearings on both sides here. And there's a mark in here somewhere. Yeah, there's the mark right there. Something about that mark. I don't remember what that mark is, but I think I'm doing this wrong. It's been a couple days since I've been out here. Here's a mark here, and I believe I'm supposed to measure out 7 inches here. That's close enough. And then you got to pinch it off where it won't slide, and I double pinch it to make sure. Okay, now I had to do some adjusting and some cutting, trimming down in here, which you can't see off camera. But to make this work, and here we go. And it's got a little stopping point right here so far. I may let that be the stopping point. But then I just unpinch these and take this out. And we will go over here and I will show you the rest. But anyhow, we just left them out there and we bent this piece of metal here. Okay? This is a bent piece of metal. Just like that one there. A little longer though, but it's okay. But this is the jig right here. Let me get everything cleaned off of it where it makes sense. Okay. This is the jig setup for welding. Don't look like much, does it? Well, it didn't to me either at first. But anyhow, this is what you do. You take your bent piece of metal from out there, and you set it on here, and you pinch it, or you clamp it into place. Okay. And you clamp it over here too if needed. But you got a little spot right here, and you cut a piece of metal, which I don't have one down here. I could cut this little piece of metal here. And then place that little piece of metal on top right here. Right there. Just place it on top. And then pinch it. We're faking it. We're going to act like there's a piece of metal there because I don't have one cut for you. Okay, there's a piece of metal right here. And then what we'll do is we'll weld that piece of metal. We'll tack it on both sides. That piece of metal is coming across here to the other side here, down in there. I know I should have cut a piece and went through the whole routine, but then you weld it right along here. And your metal's over here, you weld it right there. Then when you pull it off, you're going to have something that looks like this. Well, that's after it's made it to the second part over here. When you've gone from here, you go over here. And then you clamp this in again. See, I may have to do a little truing up. This may be a little bit off. Little things like that is what's taking up my time, getting it just right. This may be a little off. I may need to bend it, heat it up and bend it, or this will go flat. But then you'll take your other little piece of metal, a second piece, and you put it down here, right here, and then you clamp it in. And then you weld it. It'll come all the way across. You'll weld it over here, and you'll weld it over there. And then what you'll have when you pull this off is a piece that looks something like that. This is an unfinished piece. This is just something that I'm using. It does work on here. It's just like the cardboard one, but it's metal. And you just slide your lock through here. Slide your lock through here. Hook it around that, and then go the hole up here and hook it in the hole. Turn your lock. Now there will be a flat piece welded on here too. A flat piece is going to be welded right here, a cover. But as you can see, you cannot get down in there to cut that lock. You're not going to get that lock off, not less without calling a locksmith or somebody that knows how to get in there, because you're not going to cut that lock. You can use a cheap lock like this, a little skinny lock like that. And I painted all these blue because they match for right now, because I'm going to do different kinds of locks. See, I can pull this. This is out. This is for a regular padlock. This is the 1 inch, and then you got a 3/4 inch. That's a small lock. And but anyhow, this is for the 1 inch lock. See how I just changed that out? This is going to get a color also. I just haven't got that far down the line, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. And see, that will slide in there. Each one of these will set a different depth on this piece of metal. Where this piece of metal is welded at, it's going to make a difference of what kind of lock you can use with this cover, with this lock cover. This is what I'm working on now. I've got this one here like this. This is for the self-storage slider lock. That one's almost done. I'm gonna weld and make a pretty one like this. It'd be nice with the cover, paint it a different color, everything. This is just where I can recognize. Okay, dead battery. I don't know what I didn't film. I was so involved in what I was talking about. I guess I'm gonna start over. This blue right here is to help me to understand that these are all similar. There's going to be at least five different size major locks that I've got to work with. Okay, and one way I'm going to use to work with that is I can change this out, pull this out. That's for another lock, which I'll show you in a minute. This is for the blue lock, what I'm calling a blue lock, which goes on the self-storage type slider. That's for this type of cover here. This is just a template. I'll make a pretty one later. This is the one that goes over here and go like this. And there'll be a piece of metal right here, and this will be colored, painted another color than blue. But it's for this type of lock. Okay? Now what I'm working on, I haven't made the finished product here, but I know this is going to work because I've already distinguished that. I don't know, maybe that didn't video. Maybe I need to do it again. You slide the lock into place, you hook it on there, you turn the lock, and then you lock the lock from underneath, and you got a plate right here. And you're not going to get that lock off. That's on there. That is on there. Only way you're going to get that lock off is called locksmith, or find your other key. Keep your second key somewhere, because you're not going to get in there and cut it. There's no way you're going to get in there and cut it. See, this is where somebody has come in here and they've cut one right here, and they got that round lock off of there. Big old round lock like that. And see where they cut it? See where they cut it right here? They got that round lock off of there. Well, that's why I'm making this cover here too. I haven't got this far. This is one of those 5 or more locks I got to deal with. That's why I'm going to different colors here. So when I change over and I try this one, this lock's a 1-inch lock. This is a 3/4 inch, I think, lock. I got to measure it again. But this is going to be the cover for it, basically. Cardboard cover. And this is going to be the finished product. Well, not finished product, but this is part of that project. So I'll need to pull this blue out of here, because all this blue here is the same. They all work. In other words, when I make the next one that's for a 1-inch lock like this, I will use this for a copy and look at it. And I've got these here as plug that I can just plug that in there. And then I got my right height, I got my right distance, because each one of these is going to be a little bit different. Okay, this is for this kind of lock. I'll plug this in there. I'll set this over here like that. I will pinch it up here, and then I will weld a piece. I have to cut a piece, set it down in there. It will sit right there on top of that piece there, and then I will pinch it in. I got to just fake this. It ain't, I don't have anything cut. And then I'll set it on top of there, and I'll pinch it in place, and then I will weld it on each side. Weld it there, not this piece. This is just a holder. This is like a easel, yeah, or something. This is just a holder, so you don't weld it. And then that'll be lock number 2 once I get everything on there. And I may work on that today. But I also wanted to share with you, get all my cardboard stuff picked up. They're falling everywhere. This is some of the stuff I've worked with. This is some tools I made. I'll go over it in a minute. But I had to use these little measuring pieces here, calipers. There's like 3 different kinds. You don't have to know inches and stuff to do this. And then what I do is I go in here and I measure how far these little crossovers are. And then I come down here. Let me find this one here. Yeah. This is the one for, this is for this lock. This is for this lock, right here. Find a way to, okay. It's for this lock. So I measure right here, and you can adjust it to the cardboard right here. That's the first crossover right there, okay? And then I come down here, and I can see this is at the right distance here. That's why I made this one like I did. Then I can, I'll have to measure another little distance here too, right here, that I'm still working with. Matter of fact, that's pretty close right there. Okay. That's how far down that has got to be. There it is, right there. So I'll weld a piece in there. But these calipers, this is for the inside measurement. This is for the along the edge. And this is one for the outside measurement of something round that you can't get to. But they're nice. They're nice. Okay, let me get this cleaned off, and then I'll show you the next one. All right. Okay, I've made these here also. I need a demonstration piece. Here we go. Like this round piece here. I'll need to cut it. I may have to cut it in 2 places, but if I need to cut it, well, not need to cut it, I will need to cut it. Then I can lay this on there. Well, there we go. And then whatever length I need here, and then I'll pinch that off, and then I can cut this and I'll have a straight line. This is some of the tools I'm using. This is a cutting disc, which is very worn down. I've got others. But then I can cut this right along that edge there, and it'll give me a true straight line. If I just lean it up against that, then I can cut right there, and it'll give me a true straight line. Now, if I need to cut a piece down the middle of it, well, not the middle, but yeah, kind of down the middle here, I can crimp this here. And then I will take one of these and measure to make sure they are the same at both ends. Then I can take the grinder and grind right along this edge here, however long I need to. It needs to be nice and straight. Then I can use this one and come back and cut off straight off the edge there. And this is just an extra one in case I need to go diagonal or somewheres. But I wanted to show you also the tools that I'm using. I'm using this for cutting. I'm using this one for grinding, which I got another grinding disc. But I'm using this one for grinding. And then that is the welder I'm using right there. Harbor Freight. It's a 125 amp, high or low only. And it works out real good. Works out real good. Now there's something I did make, which there's only one video out there on it. Okay, I think I'm back. But now, since the machine only has a high and a low, the high is pretty good. It puts out like 125 amps. It will weld some pretty thick stuff. This is a 1/4 inch. It will heat up enough to weld the 1/4 inch to the 1/8 inch metal. And a lot of this is bed rail. It will weld it and penetrate pretty good. It won't weld anything thicker than this, or it won't penetrate good. But sometimes I need to weld tin. Sometimes I need to weld thin metal like this right here. This is just a test piece. I mean, this stuff here, can you tell how thick that is? See how thin that piece there is? That is some thin stuff. I don't know what gauge it is. This here may be 22 gauge or something right here, and it's welded on there. And how I did it is I went to Harbor Freight, got this clamp thing here for ground, and found this cable. These are just all ran together, okay? It's not a positive negative. This is a piece of, I'll have to find a picture. Here's a picture up here, how thick this is, where I got it at. And then I've got these little clamps here also that I got from a hardware store here in town. These are called split nuts. I don't remember what size these are, but they're just barely enough size for the rod, the stainless steel rod, and this copper wires to go in there. And then how this works here is, how does it work? Oh yeah, I take this and I clamp it on whatever I'm going to weld, okay? And then I take my ground from my welder and I clamp it down here. This will give resistance here to cut the power down for 90. 90 amps is the lowest on these little welders. It doesn't have an adjustment like the $300 welder does. This is like $134, $30, 40 something welder. It's a good little welder. And this will add resistance. Now if I need more resistance, I can undo this here and slide it down. The farther I go this way, the more resistance I'm going to get in here, and the lower the amps will be put out, and the thinner the stuff. This is pretty thin, and it's on there. But that's not about making lock covers or anything. But I just wanted to add that in there because I may forget to do it some other time. But yeah, that's on there pretty good. All right, I think that covers everything. Once I get the regular padlock, this one here, completed, where I got a template, then I'm going to start working on this one. You can actually buy some of this metal here. This is like 3-inch right here. This is 2-inch. And this is 1-inch. And if I need to cut some, then I will take a piece of bed rail. Where's a piece of bed rail? I can take a piece of bed rail and cut a piece out of here. And just take the grinder and cut it out. Whatever I need to do. Everything's moving in the right direction. I'm just taking my time, and it's taking time to come up with this. There's no videos on this. Not even sure if I'm going to uplink this one. I got this one for me at least. But I started off with cardboard. Where's the other cardboard? Started off with cardboard, and I've gone to metal. Alright guys, get out there and fabricate something today. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do. This is the old wood heater. I still haven't put it in the house yet. But there's a video on it, on the wood heater. And yeah, have some fun. It's fun making things and fabricating and welding and cutting, and we're living it during some marvelous time with tools that can mass production things like these little locks. I'm really planning on getting far enough along on this that I can either train somebody or do it myself and make some other locks, covers, and sell them, you know, and maybe come up with something extra to sell. I can probably come up with at least 5 different styles, because I'm gonna make another one which I hadn't got started on for a trailer tongue. You know, the lock where you can lock your trailer to keep somebody from stealing it. Well, I'm gonna make a cover that goes around it where they can't cut the lock and steal your trailer. That's a part of this plan here. So this is going to go on for a little bit longer. It's going to take some more time, but it's getting there. I am moving on it, and I'm real excited about what I've got done so far, and definitely want to document some of this on video, which is what I'm doing right now. But anyhow, guys, have a good day. Talk at you later. Get out there and make some stuff. Talk to you later. Bye.
Viewing the video, or giving us a like, or subscribing makes us want to bring on a little more entertainment. Don't you agree?